Good morning, this is Kim Watson. Welcome to a morning review. Let's look at the euro dollar first. And yesterday, once again, we ended up with quite a sell-off overall. We've seen sort of slightly bigger moves of late, which is almost unusual for the euro, but has been moving. It is continuing its downward trend at the moment. It has broken some previous trend lines, so I had, hadn't drawn on this particular chart, but drawn on other charts where we were sort of sitting up here, and it's broken through this pretty well. Pretty well, this sort of trend line has gone. So with this series of lower highs and lower lows, it's certainly fired off down there somewhat. Now we're sitting pretty close to the monthly S2 here, and it's be interesting to see whether it bounces from this level. We do have the daily pivot above us, so it may just push on up a bit more this morning. If it can break through these 21s, it would look pretty reasonable for the daily pivot there, although not a massive amount of pips now sitting there. It's, well, hardly any at all. Almost if it coughs, it might move through that level now. So what's very deceiving is the overall amount of points this market's been moving. It looks like it's a massive move, and it turns out to be, well, 90 pips. So it wasn't too bad, but as I say, if I'm measuring this correctly, yeah, it's just literally 10 pips on the break of the upside towards that pivot if it does go. So not a big move at all. Okay. Just checking, we have got there's the economic financial ministers financial minister meetings are going on all day again today, so we may get some more news out on Greece, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on here, but certainly there is some news out today. Break-wise, if it was to run to the downside, and whilst I'm looking at the pivot at the moment, if it was to sell off quite early this morning, break the lows, and there's a bit of a trend line now, we could probably put in there craftily using the bottom of the current candle, admittedly. But we could see that heading down towards the S2, but again, there's very little in the way of target either way at the moment. Perhaps a bit more if it breaks through the S2 and runs down to the daily S1, but it's between a rock and a hard place there. Okay, cable. So cable sitting on its trend line. Here's one I drew earlier. Whether I can break this is another matter. Hasn't quite pipped up there yet this morning, but it could do. Personally, I've still got a little bit of a short going from a move overnight. It's got the potential. It gave a few signs away yesterday. It might have just been topping out. It was diverging as we was running towards the S3. I would have liked the R3. I'd have liked the R3, of course, but that wasn't to be. But we have edged down a little bit from that sort of a divergency move at the moment. We've got the daily pivot below us. If we can, again, really, it's a case of if we break the lows here or the 21 moving average exponential there, it could be a move on back for the pivot. Now that has got a few more pips than the euro one. It's got about 17. So if we start seeing that happening, that's a more worthwhile looking starter of a trade. Now it could come off a bit more. I mean, it moved up yesterday predominantly, allegedly, against the exit or the polls, which was an easy job, particularly as there was bundles of orders, buy orders sitting as stops on different phases, and as it built up, there was more stops put in. These were taken out, and it was a day of the stop hunt, I think. Maybe happening the same again today. We'll watch that later. But for now, it does look, if it can, as I say, if it can break the low of this current candle and the low of the 4 o'clock candle, it does look like the pivot could be hit. It's my favorite anyway. Okay, looking then at the dollar yen. And we have here a bit of a pickle-y mess, but it's not too bad. Almost two side-by-side candles there, the red and green. If it can push up again and continue its route it was doing, Bank of Japan would be happy. There is a possibility it could do that. It's found support off the 20 daily 21 there. It didn't break any of the previous lows there, and it's not really put a lower high in, so there is a potential for that to continue. It has flirted around this 50 MA a few times, so it's whether or not it can actually get proper progress on there. Again, though, it does have an untouched daily pivot below. Any sort of strong sell-off here could see the opportunity of that being hit. It then has plenty of support with the 34 and 50, both nice curling round supportive measures. So maybe if it was to sell off to this point, it could be a buy point. Alternatively, it may just push on for the R1 and possibly Friday's highs. Okay, Aussie dollar. Finally, is it getting any traction? Yesterday, not quite a hammer, it's stuck in there, but it's seeing a bit of positiveness as we run through at the moment. It's got the potential, really, well, everything I'm looking at it from a 4-hourly, it's got potential rollover every time almost. It's got the 34, 50 to run through. These have been tested before though, so if it was to get any sort of wiggle on, well, it probably doesn't look quite so bad on an hourly time frame. It's put a higher low in, a couple of higher lows, and then marginally, well, higher highs here now. It's starting to look a bit more positive, and maybe we could see the euro and Aussie start pushing up a little bit more today. We'll see. And finally, the Canadian dollar. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Had a bit of a corrective day yesterday and ended up with this sort of spinning top sort of doji candle. Just testing the 4-hourly 34 again, but that was tested before on the 18th, so maybe it won't give it such support today. Looking at it from 60-minute, and you can't really see it on here because it's gone off the scale, but oil's pushing on up strong. It's making new highs here, and this could in itself bring the Canadian dollar down some more here, so it's certainly a possibility this could come off some more today. Has got an untouched daily pivot. It was pretty close to it early in the early hours there. Maybe a move back to this 21 moving averages could give a sell point for that at the moment, but if it comes back there. But to me, it looks relatively bearish with the oil shoving up as it is. Okay, that's pretty much it. Oh, there is news at 3 o'clock on the Bank of Canada rate statement, so that may create some volatility around 3 o'clock for the Canadian dollar, stroke US dollar, or US stroke Canadian dollar, should I say. We have oil inventories at 3:30 as well, so another possible mover for the Canadian dollar, bearing in mind its correlation with oil. That's around about it for today. There's nothing else news. Well, I say nothing else. There is a speaker that I noticed on one of my systems here, Fed Harker speaking at 2 p.m. So there is a speaker. He's a he's a non-voter, but they still have a say around the table. So he's on at 2 o'clock. So that's just about it. Oh, hang on. We've got a couple of ECB speakers this morning as well at 11:30. Shouldn't miss those off there. You never know what they're going to bring. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great one. Bye for now.